Hi students, welcome to this session. In this session, I am going to discuss the first chapter in the fourth block of your first year English course book. The title of the fourth block is Braving the Hazards. All the chapters in the fourth block are very important because disasters have become very common in these days. Thousands of people die each year due to various types of disasters. They also cause large-scale destruction and widespread damage. It is the need of the hour to be informed and equipped to face all these impending disasters. And the expression disaster management has gained great currency, great importance in these days. The block Braving the Hazards speaks about various types of disasters and how to manage these disasters in an effective way. There are three important chapters in the block. The first one is Disasters and Disaster Management in India, an essay by Anjana Majumdar. The second chapter is a story by A.J. Cronin. The title of the story is The Shrine of Reneganji. And the last chapter is The Wreck of the Titanic by Benjamin Peckett. All these chapters speak about the importance of being informed and equipped to face the various types of disasters that occur in these days. These chapters speak about the importance of timely intervention in moments of crisis. We have to act promptly and timely in moments of acute crisis. The first chapter, Disasters and Disaster Management in India by Anjana Majumdar, speaks about various types of disasters in India and how to act timely, promptly to mitigate the impact of all these disasters. How to manage all these disasters in our country. The first four paragraphs in the essay speak about disasters in a global scenario. Disasters have increased in intensity and frequency. In this chapter, the essayist says that both developed and developing countries face disasters, but the technological advancements in the developed countries help them to face all these disasters in a better way. Or we can say that developed countries are better equipped to face these disasters, even though the technological advancements are not adequate enough to face these disasters, to mitigate the impact of disasters. But there is a direct correlation between higher human development and better preparedness to face disasters. That means developed countries are better prepared to face disasters and developing and underdeveloped countries are more vulnerable to disasters. Then the author says, floods are the most common type of disasters and drought is the deadliest disaster. And Asia accounts for the majority of deaths caused due to various types of disasters. So the first four paragraphs in the essay speak about disasters in the global scenario. Now we move on to the next part of the chapter. This part speaks about disasters in the Indian scenario. The author says that India is more prone to various types of disasters because of certain specific reasons. The first one, because of geographical features, the second one because of geological formation, and the third one because of overpopulation, India has become a more vulnerable area to disasters. India is more prone to disasters. The geographical features like the snow-clad peaks in the north, the perennial rivers in the north, the high mountain ranges in the north, the long coastline of the peninsular India, the desert in the northwestern part of India. All these make India more vulnerable to disasters. So the geographical features, then the geological formation. That means many parts of our country belong to various seismic zones between 3 and 5. These areas are more prone to disasters like earthquake and landslide. And the last one is overpopulation. India constitutes just 2% of the total geographical area of the earth, but it has to support 18% of the total population. 2% of the total geographical area has to support 18% of the total population. That means we are exerting tremendous pressure on our natural resources. This may directly or indirectly lead to various disasters like floods, landslides, etc. Then the author speaks about the disasters which occur in various parts of our country because of the various geographical and geological features and also because of the overpopulation. She also mentioned some of the disasters that struck India in the first 2 decades of the 21st century. The next part of the essay speaks about another important area, another important topic. The direct and indirect impacts of disasters are always death, destruction, and damage. When a disaster strikes, the lifeline support system gets affected. The lifeline support systems like communication, power supply, water supply, drainage will get affected when a disaster strikes. Commercial and economic activities will also be affected. Hospitals and healthcare system will be under tremendous pressure, tremendous strain and stress when a disaster strikes. We can conclude that normal life gets disrupted when a disaster strikes. Normal life will come to a standstill when a disaster strikes. The authorities, society, people, they all think about rehabilitation works when a disaster strikes, but they do not focus on another important area which has to be addressed very seriously: psychological rehabilitation. The psychological trauma that a person experiences, that a victim experiences, will last for his whole life. Take an example. A person who witnesses the death of someone who is very close to him or someone who is so dear to his heart in a disaster. That trauma, that agony will last for his whole life. And governments and authorities, even the society, they do not address this psychological trauma that the victim experiences. This is a very important area that we have to address: psychological rehabilitation. When we move on to the next part of the essay, The author highlights another important idea. When disasters like landslides, floods, cyclones, and earthquake strike, there is an increase in the number of casualties, and the destruction is large scale, is widespread due to another important reason. There we have to blame on the building structure, because in most of the developing countries only 30% of the buildings are constructed in accordance with the building codes, in accordance with a master plan, and high quality materials are used. But most of the buildings are constructed not accordance with these building codes which ensure safety and security. They are not constructed in accordance with a master plan. Inferior quality materials are used to build these structures, and as a result the death toll rises, and as a result there is a widespread destruction and damage. So here the author says that buildings should be constructed in accordance with building codes, in accordance with a master plan. Also, high quality materials should be used, and there should be a monitoring mechanism, and this monitoring mechanism should work with the authorities, should coordinate with the authorities to ensure that each and every building is constructed in accordance with these building codes. The existing buildings should be technically assessed, and the weaknesses of these buildings should be informed to the owners as well as the housing authorities. We all know that when a disaster strikes, the poorest sections in the country will be affected the most. They are the worst affected people in the society. Then in the essay she speaks about the various roles played by state governments and central governments in the management of disasters. She says that the major role in disaster management should be played by the state government, and the central government has just a facilitating role, the role of a facilitator. The various services offered by the central government are defense services like airlifting, airdropping, rescuing, searching, transport of relief goods, etc. But one thing is very important: there should be a perfect coordination among the various government departments. For the better management of disasters, people should be well informed. Disaster management is not just the sole responsibility of state government or central government. It is the responsibility of each and every individual in our country. For that, each and every individual should be well informed about the various types of disasters. They should be better equipped to face these disasters. They should be better equipped with the recent technology. Only then we will be able to act timely and promptly in moments of crisis. All the various departments should work with proper coordination so that they can ensure speedy relief to all the victims of these disasters. So, proper coordination among various departments is very important. Coordination among various departments, various NGOs, and also among the citizens of the country is very important to face disasters in a better way, to manage disasters in a better way. The chapter also says that disaster management may not be able to avert various disasters that strike. We may not be able to avert these disasters, but if we are well informed and better equipped, we may be able to mitigate the impact of many of these disasters, and that is the essence of disaster management. So, the essay speaks about various disasters in the global scenario. It also speaks about why India is more prone to disasters and how can we mitigate the impact of disasters in our country, and it also highlights the role of each and every individual in mitigating the impact of disasters in our country. The questions that may come in your examination are the first one, knot making. So this is a very important question that may come in your examination, a very simple question. A specimen is given on page number 107. If that question comes in your examination, you have to follow the guidelines, the format given on page numbers 107 and 108. There should be a title, then subtitles, key points, and if there are subpoints, you have to write subpoints also. I repeat, title, subtitles, key points, and subpoints. In that way, you have to prepare notes. The next question that you can expect from this particular chapter is précis writing. It is also a simple question. When you prepare a précis, the most important thing that you have to keep in your view is that you have to reduce the length of the passage to 1/3 of its original size. That means you have to prepare a brief summary of that passage. The next important thing is that you have to prepare the précis in your own words. You should not lift chunks as such from the passage and reproduce them in your answer. Instead of that, you have to prepare the précis in your own words. The third thing about a précis is that a précis may or may not have a title, but if you are asked to prepare a précis in your examination, just coin a title. You have to use a title. You have to prepare the précis with a title. You can reduce the length of the passage by taking into account some important strategies. The first thing, you can leave out all the unnecessary and irrelevant details from the passage. The second thing is that you can replace long sentences with one-word expressions. Some other strategies can also be used to reduce the length of a passage. So this is one question that may come in your final examination. It is also a very simple question. The third question that you can expect from this chapter, prepare an essay or a speech. Disaster management in India is not just the sole responsibility of state or central governments. It is the responsibility of each and every individual. Prepare an essay or a speech on this topic. There you can write about the role of each and every individual in mitigating the impact of disasters. The speech or essay should also speak about how to act timely in moments of crisis, how to act courageously in moments of crisis. It also speaks about the fact that we should be better informed and better equipped to face all these disasters. Some other questions may also come in your examination, like prepare write-ups on why is India more prone to disasters. The next write-up is on the direct and indirect impacts of disasters. The third write-up is on how can the building structure ensure the safety of people. These are some of the questions that you can expect from the chapter Disasters and Disaster Management in India. You have to go through the text thoroughly, try to internalize the important ideas discussed in the chapter, because this topic has gained great importance in these days, because we are facing different disasters in these days, and we should be better equipped and informed to face all these disasters. That's all for the day. Thank you.